Hello, my name is Alexander Albury, the host of this episode of Innovators Impact, the podcast where we highlight individuals that bring a great change to the community and elevate the minds of those around them. I have the blessing of introducing to you the man who has mastered self mastery. He is the CEO of NLS Global, and he is also an author. I bring you no other than Nathan L. Sweeting. How are you, Nathan?
Wonderful. I'm good.
Awesome. That's good. For those who might not be familiar with you and what exactly you do, can you tell us, and myself, because I would love to learn some more about what exactly you do on a day-to-day basis?
So I'm a speaker and a mindset coach. So I help ambitious individuals like business professionals, entrepreneurs to clarify their goals, break bad habits like procrastination, and overcome mindset challenges. And one of the main mindset challenges really is resilience. And I focus on self mastery, helping persons to better manage themselves in order to produce a better result, a more intentional result.
Awesome. And so what exactly prompted you to start this journey of mastering the mind?
Well, I got really hooked on mindset because of my life story. I was mentally burnt out, depressed. I was completely lost when it comes to actually what I want to do as far as setting goals and achieving goals. I was overweight, had addictions. I was in a very bad state in my life. And I got tired of being there. So I started studying. I went on the biggest online university there is, YouTube. And I started studying, how to overcome addictions, how to change your mindset, how to transform your life. And through that, I was able to achieve my own transformations. I lost almost 50 pounds. Kept it off now. I've kept it off now for like the past 10 years, almost the past 10 years. I was able to quit an 18-year addiction, which was very difficult to do. I was terrified of public speaking. I mean, scared to the point where I'm shaking and sweating when it comes to public speaking. And I was able to overcome that fear, and not just overcome that fear, but turn it into, well, while I was overcoming the fear of public speaking, I realized that not only am I not afraid of it anymore, but I kind of like it. It's kind of cool. And I started to develop a passion for speaking. I turned the fear, I went from having a fear of public speaking to developing a passion for public speaking. And I decided to turn that passion into a purpose-driven career. So now my focus is on giving keynotes, facilitating workshop, but keynotes and mainly keynotes and workshops. Keynotes for events and conferences and workshops for companies mainly focused on team building, boosting team productivity, uh, developing a resilience mindset when it comes to change and setbacks, and improving team cohesion and collaboration.
Access Cowork Suites offer three unique membership options to suit different needs. Our virtual membership is great for those who need a daily workspace but want a professional business address, complete with mailing address, 1 day pass per month, access to our online network, and invites you to exclusive events. It's perfect if you need flexibility with essential business services. If you're looking to work on site, the Flexi Desk membership allows you to work in any open space, offering fast Wi Fi, access to printing, complimentary coffee, tea, and water, plus access to our community network and events. For those wanting a consistent workspace, the Personal Desk membership gives you your own dedicated desk where you can leave your belongings and settle in daily. Feel free to reach out by stopping by to see our space yourself or visit our website at accesscoworking.com. We'd love to help you find the perfect fit.
I know there are many mental challenges out there that people face daily. And I kind of want to just dive in a little bit more with you. What would you say would have been the shift in mindset that really, like, were there any defining moments that really you said to yourself, okay, it's time that I shift gears and look up again? Was there any like definitive moments where you was like, yeah, this is my time to change?
Well, I had several of those aha moments. One of my most significant moments was when my daughter was born. She came in 2013, and at that time, that was when I had a serious addiction. I still had the addiction it was a smoking addiction, and I didn't like having that addiction. I didn't like the idea of being controlled by a substance. I didn't eat, and it was the same thing with the fear for public speaking. I didn't like being controlled by that fear. I hate being controlled. So it was after my daughter was born, I kept going over and over in my mind, how am I going to tell this child she can't smoke, but daddy smokes? And that was bothering me almost every day. My wife hated smoking, by the way. And I started to, I tried to quit. I tried to quit once, but it didn't work. Went right back. I tried to quit a couple of times. It didn't work. So, so it was based on my daughter and identifying how am I going to tell her that without, I couldn't come up with that reason. How am I going to tell her, don't do it, and I'm doing it? So, and then I also realized how smoking was negatively impacting my marriage. It was negatively impacting my business, my professional career. And that's when I decided I need to do something. Something needs to be done. And the biggest shift I made when it came to stopping or quitting that addiction was changing who I saw myself as, changing my own self-identity, right? So I saw myself all these years from high school, I saw myself as being a smoker. Nace is the smoker. And I had to change that mindset to not identify myself as being a smoker and realize that smoking is just a habit I had, not a part of who I was. When I was able to do that, it became easier to quit that addiction because it's easier to quit a habit than it is to change who you are as a person. So it's just making that simple but strong and effective mindset shift to achieve that particular goal.
At Lifestyles Digital Media Group, we believe a strong brand identity is essential for corporate businesses looking to stand out and make a lasting impact. So what exactly is brand identity? It's the unique set of visuals, messaging, and values that shape how a company is perceived by its audience. For corporate brands, a clear identity isn't just about logos or colors. It's about consistently communicating who they are, what they stand for, and the value they bring. A strong brand identity builds trust, attracts ideal clients, and differentiates a business in a competitive market. From visual design to voice and tone, every element should align with the company's mission and resonate with its audience. Here at Lifestyles, we specialize in assisting businesses craft identities that are authentic, powerful, and memorable so they can truly lead in their industries. Thank you for tuning in and follow us for more insights on building a brand that drives success.
I've just read the book Atomic Habits. It's a pretty good book, and it talks about what you just said about changing your habits and changing who you are as a person. How do you think that changing your outlook on yourself, like whether it be the way that you look in the mirror or the mindset of where you want to be, like how important do you think that is, whether that's be to a teenager in school, to an adult in college, or even in the workforce? Like how important do you think that putting the right labels on yourself and who you want to be can progress you as a person?
Well, I believe you are who you think you are. So what I teach is my mastery. So my mastery really means changing your internal script, your story. So we all have a story about ourselves. I believe I'm confident, or I believe I'm shy, I believe I'm bold. We all have a story that we tell ourselves, and that story leads to our actions and our behaviors. So if I believe I'm shy, I'm not going to put myself in certain situations. If I believe I'm confident, I'm going to be the first one in line to put myself in situations. But it all depends on how we see ourselves. When it comes to, let's look at young adults, because I have a workshop I do with young adults between the ages of 16 and 30, basically. there is at least in my opinion, there is a sense of confusion, not necessarily, and not with all, I'm talking about, well, generally, there's a sense of confusion, like I don't really know who I am, so I'm going to adopt pieces of identities from this social media influencer, from this, from that, and I'm going to piece that together to become my own. And it creates a lot of confusion when it comes to changing the way you see yourself as a entrepreneur and or a business professional. It's adopting the mindset that even though you may not have the skills or resources now to get where you want to be, it's knowing that it's adopting a growth mindset to knowing that you can develop the skills needed. You can get the certifications, you can get the degrees, you can do what it takes to get where you want to be in life, whether that be with your personal or professional goals. What held me back what held me back in my personal and my professional life was thinking I'm not good enough. I struggled with self-doubt for the majority of my life. Self-doubt and insecurities for the majority of my life. And it is because of that self-doubt that I did not take the risks that I knew I should have taken to get to where I needed to be. Now I have no problem taking risks at all. I have no problem looking crazy. I have no problem messing up. I have no problem failing or falling down, because I know failing, falling down, messing up, that's a part of the process. You cannot have success without failure. And even when it comes to failure, it's changing your mindset about failure. You can never actually fail unless you stop. That is literally the only way you can fail at something, if you stop pushing to achieve that goal or stop pushing to make progress. As long as you're continuously going and you're studying for the class, you're making the calls for your business, you're sending out the emails, you're actually putting in the action, you don't fail. You might fall down, or not might, you will fall down a couple of times. You will get it wrong, but it's using that, it's adopting the mindset that I'm going to use this supposed failure to progress me to the next level, to push me up. Because I believe there's a lesson and a message in every failure, in every time we fall down, in every challenge, there's a lesson and a message.
Welcome to the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation, BCCEC. As the leading voice of the business community, our mission is simple: to ensure that businesses across our islands thrive in a competitive global economy.
By joining the BCCEC, you gain access, exclusive opportunities to connect with industry leaders, advice, expert guidance, and training tailored to support your business, and advocacy. We ensure your voice is heard at the highest levels of government.
Join the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce today and be a part of a dynamic network that champions your business. With advocacy, resources, and connections, we're here to help you succeed.
Tell me what really prompted you to start NLS Global.
So what prompted me to start it? I always get caught up on this story now. I had 3 businesses before NLS Global: driving school, landscaping company, and an employee wellness firm. The employee wellness firm, Elite Wellness Solutions, we facilitated corporate wellness programs for companies that consisted of like biometric screenings, group coaching and training, and group fitness training, and then educational sessions. I was primarily responsible for the educational sessions, facilitating those, which I wasn't really used to at that point. And that's one of the ways I overcame my fear of public speaking, and it's through that I really developed a passion for public speaking through that business. So when the pandemic came, we closed down Elite Wellness Solutions because of the pandemic. And I still wanted to, but at that point, I had become hooked on public speaking. And I still wanted to empower people. So I started a company. And literally, I thought, what's the best name for a company? I didn't want to use Nathan L. Seedings. I just NLS, and I want to make my impact. I wanted to make a global impact. So I put NLS Global. And that's how I came up with NLS Global. And the NLS Global at first was mainly just speaking, keynotes, and presentations. And I realized that I can empower others on other platforms and in other ways other than not, I don't want to say just speaking, but other than presentations. So I started doing workshops. I created a coaching program. So now I do mindset coaching. The keynotes and workshops are focused on audiences and groups and crowds. And my coaching program is focused on individuals. That gives you uh, individual access to me and a more personal touch for continued development and accountability. But that's how I got started with NLS Global. I say the same thing. But that's how I got started with NLS Global.
At Lifestyles Digital Media Group, we specialize in creating compelling corporate content that enhances your internal and external communication efforts.
Our clients come from a cross-section of industries such as banking and finance, healthcare, insurance, and many more.
At Lifestyles Digital Media Group, excellence is the standard.
Our highly skilled and passionate team knows how to produce content that will resonate with your audience and significantly boost engagement rates.
Let us help you tell your story, connect with your audience, and achieve your business goals.
The team here at Lifestyles Digital Media Group would love to help you get seen, be heard, and make an impact.
So with NLS Global, you, like you said, you speak to individuals and you speak to large crowds. I've known on multiple occasions you've spoken to corporate businesses and you help them with a load of different things when it comes to mentality. Can you elaborate more on the ways in which that you believe that you help these corporate companies grow as the workforce?
So the way I add value to corporate companies is primarily through my team building workshop. So I help companies to boost employee performance, improve communication, break down communication barriers, and improve team cohesion and collaboration. What that looks like is as far as boosting and prevent burnout and improve staff well-being. So that's four things. I can take it one at a time. So as far as improving employee performance and productivity, we focus on areas like maintaining motivation, keeping the staff motivated and engaged, because we find a lot that going through the mundane task of doing the same things every day, having the same conversations every day, and it can become very repetitive, and it often leads to presenteeism. So presenteeism meaning you're physically there, but you're not mentally there. You're mentally absent. You're someplace else. And I realized that the rate of disengaged, or the percentage of disengaged employees in the workforce, is very high. As a matter of fact, when it comes to individual presentations, that is the most commonly requested presentation, how to stay motivated and engaged on the job. So it's knowing how to manage time correctly, stay motivated and engaged, and increase your focus when it comes to problem solving. That's improving productivity and performance. When it comes to enhancing communication, that's for the purpose of improving collaboration among team members. Paying attention to your non-verbal cues, which actually starts off with your internal script. You have an employee who is breaking the rules or who isn't doing what they're supposed to do. Even before you approach that employee, you need to work on yourself. So if I know Alex Alex, I just told Alex, do not do this, and Alex did this, before I approach you, I have to calm myself down so I don't actually approach you from an emotional state, because oftentimes when we look at some leaders approach their staff not really in a good emotional state. So they end up reacting instead of responding to the situation. That leads to conflict. So I focus on enhancing emotional intelligence to respond with empathy and build emotional awareness so you can diffuse situations and manage conflicts. And then there's preventing burnout and improving employee well-being, because we know how important mental health and physical health is in the workforce. You know, almost in every profession, workload is increasing. Workload is increasing every year. The demand is increasing every year, especially if your business is growing. So it's knowing how to achieve a balance between work and life, whatever that looks like for you, knowing how to establish workplace wellness, so staying healthy while at work and setting boundaries between work and life. And knowing how to manage stress to improve performance, because you can actually use stress to increase performance instead of allowing stress to decrease your performance.
At Lifestyles Digital Media Group, we understand the power of storytelling for corporate impact. Storytelling isn't just for movies, it's one of the most effective ways for businesses to connect with their audiences on a deeper level. So, what does that mean for corporate brands? It's about weaving the company's missions, values, and success stories into a narrative that resonates. A good story can showcase real challenges, celebrate achievements, and highlight the value a company brings to its clients and community. Through compelling storytelling, brands can build trust, inspire action, and set themselves apart from competitors. Here at Lifestyles, we help businesses tell those impactful stories through visuals and messaging that not only capture attention, but also leave a lasting impression. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more insights on using storytelling to drive your brand's success.
Good morning. This is Edison Sumner, President of the Bahamas Red Cross Society. We're very excited. Today is going to be a fantastic day for us. We are expecting a visit from the Prime Minister today, where we're going to be discussing some of the issues of the Red Cross. We're also going to be giving him a tour of our facilities here so that he can see the work that we've been doing to support the vulnerable people in our community, not only here in New Providence, but across the entire archipelago. And then, of course, we'll have a chance to sit and talk to him about some of our plans and our programs and talk about the role of the Red Cross as an auxiliary to the government and how we are working to support each other in our efforts on not only in the issues of disaster management, but also on issues relative to social welfare, health and safety, CPR training, and other first responder type of training facilities. Stay tuned and you will see the results of our engagement very soon. Thank you.
Wow, that's I learn something new every day. There's something that you said about bringing emotion onto the workforce. Like you said, I think that's happening a lot nowadays. And instead of people taking a moment to capture themselves and say, all right, this is what's happening. Where do you see that most of the emotional stress is coming from in the workforce? Do you think that it is happening on the job, or could it also be stemming from personal life? Because, you know, they try to say you got to balance work life and personal life. And I think that plenty of people forget that it's not just how long you stay to work and how long you stay at home. It's really a mental thing too. So how do you believe that people could really improve their mental state to say, okay, like, I'm working, it's time to work, and everything that's happened before at home, staying home, or vice versa?
So each area of our lives affect the other. So our home life, my marriage affects my business. My business affects my home life. It affects my relationship with my daughter. I believe how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? So if I am, how do I want to put this? If I am unhappy in my home, let's say I am experiencing marital problems, when I get to work, it's very difficult to take my mind off of that problem and automatically switch to being in work mode and focusing on work. And that's where the presenteeism comes into effect, because a lot of persons are struggling mentally with the challenges of life. You have persons who, some people are living in their cars and people don't even know about it. Bills are due. Some people are behind on mortgages. It's just the pressures and challenges of life can easily overpower your focus on your professional responsibilities. Where I come in, as far or where emotional intelligence comes into play, is first identifying the negative emotions that we feel. You have to build awareness because you cannot change what you don't know. And we act based on emotion and we back it up with logic. So most of our actions and activities are based on how we feel in the moment. We feel energized, we feel frustrated, we feel happy, and that normally determines the culture or the what I want to say. That normally determines our day, right? But once we start off with understanding our emotions, understanding where they're coming from by identifying the triggers. So if I'm walking in the office and I know Sherry has a bad attitude in the office, I hope no one is Sherry watching this. I know, what's the common name? Jane. I know Jane has a bad attitude. I am not going to let Jane negatively affect me. I'm going to prepare for that because we tend to mirror or mimic the negative attitudes of others, and that tends to ruin our day. So when we look at managing, and I know I'm going all over the place, but when we look at managing emotions, it does affect both personal and professional lives because they are intertwined, but it starts with developing emotional awareness and then learning how to manage those emotions.
For sure. I've had the pleasure of, like I said before, working alongside of you, working for you and with you to capture some content. I just want to know, where do you think that content plays a role in mental health? That's something that I think that really needs to be emphasized more nowadays, because we know the social media space is also growing, whether it be for corporate or for just the individual use. So how do you use social media to get your messages across, or do you even use social media to get your message across?
I believe content is king, right? I heard that from Grant Cardone, right? Content is king. We consume content all day, every day. You see, most persons I saw a picture where back in the day, persons were on a train and everyone was looking into a newspaper, and then they showed a picture of today, everyone on a train, everyone looking in their phone. People consuming content. So I use platforms like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and my website. I have a blog on my website as well to promote my business, to promote my message of mastery, self-mastery, whether it's mindset, emotions, or behavioral change.
That's awesome, Nathan. It's been a pleasure. I always enjoy having a conversation with you. Mental health is something that I find personally attracted to because it's so important in day-to-day life. If anybody wanted to reach you, get a hold of you, get one of your workshops, how could they do so?
Well, for anyone wanting to reach out to me, you can reach me at my website, nls-global.com. I'm also on social media on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram as Nathan L. Sweeting.
Have you ever wondered what really goes on behind the scenes at a company? Behind the scenes videos are an incredible way to give your audience an authentic, unfiltered look into the heart of your brand. But here's the real question. How much do these videos actually impact the way people connect with the brand? Do they build trust, make the company feel more human, or do they just offer a peek behind the curtain that doesn't add much value? We want to know what you think. Drop a comment below. How important are behind-the-scenes videos in corporate media, and do they really make a difference in how we see brands?
Thank you so much for tuning in to Innovators and Impact. I appreciate you taking this time out of your day to tune in and watch this episode. Until next time, bye.